Ladies and gentlemen, so today we are delivering on one of the most requested Marvel Strike Force videos that I've had on the channel, and that is the Best Champions Rank Seatin's tier list for Marvel Strike Force. So if you're not familiar with myself, just to give you a bit of a background, because this channel is fairly new, I've been doing tier lists for Marvel Contest of Champions for about 2 years now. I'm a day 1 beta player for Marvel Strike Force in the top 20, and to the best of my knowledge, I have some of the sickest raid runs on the entire Marvel Strike Force YouTube. Like, type in like 6.5 million damage, and you can see some insane level 60 raid gameplay. But yeah, I've played the absolute crap out of this game. I feel like I have a really good handle on a lot of the characters. But again, nobody's knowledge is absolutely perfect, but I have pretty good reasoning. So I want to talk about, you know, all of the characters, why I've split them out into a total of 6 different tiers. So we have the God tier, the Demigod tier, the pretty good, the not too bad, the borderline bench, and the Benchwarmer tier. So yeah, the Benchwarmer tier is just the absolute rubbish tier. Borderline bench is like, it might as well be on the bench, but it's a little bit better than that. Not too bad is yeah, not too bad. It's all right, but could be better. Pretty good. Hey, it's got a bit of a use there. Demigod almost there, like got quite a bit of an arsenal. And God tier are the characters that I just consider to be absolutely crazy in the right scenario at the moment. But yeah, before we get stuck into the characters, I just want to have the standard tier list disclaimer, and the objective of the Marvel Strike Force tier list is to provide players with a rough idea of the value of every character in Marvel Strike Force. No tier list in a game like this will ever be definitive enough to say that X character is always better than Y character in every scenario, as there are a lot of different modes of gameplay, power levels, characters, different matchups, and stuff that comes into play can change, you know, who are the best champions and who are the most desirable characters to bring to various matchups. So this, you know, use this list for what it is, and this is kind of a rough guide to characters that at the moment, as of May 14th, and we're going to have this last updated section at the top with every update to the tier list, which ones are quite good at the moment and seem to have quite a bit of value. But obviously we're going to explain why certain characters are so good. So yeah, we're going to start off in the God tier, man, and we kind of have the what I would call the dominant 4 at the moment. The dominant 4, man, are just some of the craziest characters for raids and also arena especially. A lot of the top arena teams in the veteran bracket revolve around these 4 characters. So you have Yondu, who's just absolutely crazy. A ton of area effect damage on his ultimate, can summon additional Ravengers, can steal buffs passively, can go through buffs with just his first attack, but Yondu is just an arsenal of utility and crazy damage, and especially in raids, continually summoning Ravengers if you have them protected can really ramp up the damage and help you get through some really annoying phases. So there are ways to play Yondu that, yeah, can really benefit, but Yondu is just absolutely sick. Quake is amazing for her area of effect, both damage and also her ability to apply slow to a group of targets, and slow is really powerful in the current meta, especially combined with Black Widow's ability to speed the team up, and also Quake being a shield agent as well. Yeah, gets reliability from characters like Black Widow, but Quake is just absolutely insane, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, heavy AoE damage with her Earthquake, offense down, slow as well. Like, Quake is just meta at the moment. She's just so incredibly good. And then we have, I would say, the best tank for the majority of scenarios. However, there is an argument for Drax in a few scenarios, and I think there are certainly nodes in raids where Drax can be a better tank, where stuff like starts fully loaded and you have to deal with a lot of single target damage immediately. But Captain America, for kind of your average starting fight where it's fair, then Captain America is the best tank for controlling stuff. Like, he's got really decent speed, he can funnel ability energy in, he's applying defense up to the entire team, his shield is removing debuffs like Captain America, and he deals some really nice damage with his shield and ultimate ability as well. So Captain America is just absolutely ridiculous at the moment. Then we have Black Widow, who's kind of the free-to-play player's bane of existence. So Black Widow has an ability where she will go in stealth and then apply speed up to all allies for 2 turns. And yeah, this is just absolutely ridiculous combined with Quake Slow, because you're slowing the enemies down, you're speeding your team up, and you can just get so much additional value out of characters like Yondu as well. So they just pair so well, and this is why I kind of call them the dominant 4 at the moment, because I believe in pretty much every scenario these are almost always the 4 characters to bring to deal with a lot of rubbish in your way. So yeah, Black Widow's awesome for that. Also, the stun that she has is amazing with, again, the speed up and slow down mechanics, because you can just stun kind of primary targets and targets that you want to keep controlled for a while. And also, she can copy positive effects off her basic attack and also remove them from the enemy. So you can remove stuff like, what is it, the cheat death mechanic, and just, yeah, stuff like offense up and steal them for herself. So yeah, Black Widow is just awesome. And then when it comes to raids, generally the best character to pair these 4 with is Night Nurse, and we've done a couple of videos on the channel spotlighting Night Nurse, but she is just crazy in terms of her regeneration. Really, when you control the fight down and slow the enemies down, speed your team up, Night Nurse's regeneration just becomes so incredibly valuable and becomes a sustainable character in the top tier raids at the moment. So yeah, that is the standard best 5 combo for raids, but there are certain scenarios where you might want to rotate characters out, like if you need a crazy amount of single target damage. Gamora, she's your top gal. Like, Gamora deals a ridiculous amount of single target damage in comparison to any of the other characters, just has by far the most damage output, and can also clean up fights incredibly nicely, because she gets an additional kill, an additional turn if she kills an opponent with her special 3 or special 2. So yeah, Gamora is just an absolute beast mode character at the moment, and yeah, can be useful for certain fights where you need to single target down an enemy very quickly. Then we have Drax, who is very good for fights where you want like an immediate taunt, an immediate brick wall, and if your opponent doesn't have any way to dispel debuffs, like, he can be just such a wall, because he'll spawn with taunt, and then also as soon as he gets his first turn, you can taunt again and also get defense up and counter. But then kind of after that in the fight, like, Drax becomes less useful for those short bursty fights. Like, he's super good for, but aside from that, like, he's quite a slow tank, but yes, he's just very useful for a lot of fights and raids, and being like a massive meat shield, and also you can top him up using the raid charges as well. So yeah, he is still a very predominant tank, and better than a lot of the other tanks aside from Captain America in the game. And then we have Rocket Raccoon, whose damage output per, I think, if you were to exclude the ability, the damage output potential of Yondu's Ravengers, and we're just looking at damage output from a single character, Rocket Raccoon is just absolutely nuts. Like, his standard basic attack is like kind of Quake Swan, but significantly more damage. You have a very hard-hitting single target on the second attack, and his ultimate is just absolutely ridiculous. And throughout the fight as well, Rocket Raccoon is often chucking up offense up just on himself and other random allies. So yeah, he's really good, especially when paired with Gamora. Gets a little bit more crit as well. So yeah, Rocket Raccoon is just really awesome. And in a full Guardians of the Galaxy team, like, I'm interested to see what happens to these characters when also Star-Lord and Groot are brought into the game, because I think there are going to be some very interesting combos going on, and only going to increase the value further. And then finally we have Hawkeye, who is a bit of a utility god. Like, he has a giant area of effect blind that can be so valuable. It says it hits all targets when fully maxed out at level 6, but it doesn't. It often, like, misses a few targets, but it will blind the majority of the team the majority of the time. So Hawkeye is just so incredibly valuable. I see him used alongside what is it? Yondu, Quake, Captain America, Black Widow, and Arena. It's either those 4 and Hawkeye, Crossbones, or Hand Sentry, sometimes Kingpin, sometimes Doctor Strange, but it tends to be like those 4 and another one of those characters. But Hawkeye is just such a utility god. He is really useful. There is this node in the level 60 raid which has 10 Gamoras, and if you basically like sub him out take out Yondu and put in Hawkeye, like, he works so well there. He's just absolutely insane. So yeah, Hawkeye can have some really, really good value on specific nodes and can be an amazing character for controlling a lot of like big single target champions and really kind of reducing the damage output on your team with his blind and also ability to get rid of buffs and clear opponents from stealth as well. So yeah, Hawkeye is a very, very interesting one, but he is a utility god, man. I really value Hawkeye. So yeah, then in the Demigod tier champion, we have Crossbones, who is amazing for his explosion. He is a bit of a one-trick pony, though. Like, you know, the explosion is really the only thing that Crossbones is, like, he super shines for, but if you have a nice combo on that explosion, you know, if you have, something like Kingpin giving him offense up or Mercenary Lieutenant, you can have some really, really big explosions with Crossbones. And once you get him like fully upgraded on his explosion, it comes like the second turn it's available. And if you're playing with a character like Captain America and Jessica Jones, and you can funnel ability energy into him, you can potentially get the explosion on the very first turn as well. So yeah, Crossbones, he can be very useful. Like, again, people are using him in high tier arena at the moment. It's kind of countered a little bit by a champion like Sentry, but yes, Crossbones very, very useful. Also good for just going in raids and blowing up himself, and arena as well, super, super good for. And then we have Jessica Jones, who is awesome for funneling in ability energy to other characters. At level 4, her I think it's level 4. Sorry, level 6, I think it is. Her second attack can funnel out 4 ability energy. Ability energy on her basic attack is going to other allies as well. Gives the team additional resistance, making them less likely to get debuffed by the opponent, and also has a full removal of buffs on the opponent on her ultimate attack as well. So Jessica Jones, there's some really interesting stuff you can do with like heavy area of effect characters. Like, I do have one Blitz team that is Crossbones for Rocket Raccoon, Jessica Jones, and Sentry, and it is the most fun team in the world, and it just absolutely decimates. I can sustain wins at the 4 times multiplier. So Jessica Jones, she's kind of a bit like an alternative Black Widow support, but Black Widow is better because she's more reliable. And with Jessica Jones, it's a bit of a roulette wheel because you don't exactly know where the ability energy is going to land. But throwing out so much ability energy is very, very valuable and can be used to, you know, do some cheesy stuff in fights. So I really, really like that. Black Panther is circumstantially quite good. Any scenario where you can get kills off him and line him up well, like, he can be very, very useful for. And also, if you get multiple kills for Black Panther, you can get, like, for every kill that he gets like 80% of a turn. And if you are lucky enough to get like a cleave kill, then you'll get like double turns essentially. So a bit of an interesting one there off his ultimate ability, but he's got some good single target damage, but he really is just a little bit behind some of the god tier champions in my opinion, and it really does take the ideal scenario for Black Panther to line up, but he also has a slow, and there's a bit he brings to the table. So yeah, I like Black Panther, man. I'm interested to see how he performs at level 70 though. Then we got Nobu, Ninja, summons more hand ninjas, can apply counter attack, double stacks to the entire team. So yeah, Nobu's good if you are not facing opponents that have regular area of effect stuff, and you can hide behind a tank. Like, you can really get some good value out of that. But definitely, like, in terms of minion summon characters, Yondu definitely outshines Nobu. And then we have Iron Man, who has just some good damage, really. He has an area of effect on his second ability, an arc overloaded on his ultimate, and on his single target, you know, he's got some fairly decent damage there, but nothing too special. I tend to find, like, I enjoy playing Rocket Raccoon, and I think Rocket Raccoon does overall more damage than Iron Man, because Rocket Raccoon's ultimate can pretty much be like Iron Man's arc overload to every single one of the enemies. So yeah, I really like and value Rocket Raccoon a little bit more than Iron Man, but Iron Man, single target, you know, he's got a bit going on there, so he makes in the Demigod tier. Doctor Strange, bit of an interesting one for, he's a very circumstantial character. If you're fighting opponents with a lot of buffs, he's great for flipping those, but I'm not really too sure about his place in the current meta. Like, in the veteran arena, I don't really see much of Doctor Strange, and I find him super easy to play around for the most part. So yeah, I don't know, Doctor Strange is a bit of an interesting one, but he also has, as his ultimate ability, a bit of a heal, and also, a guaranteed revive, which can be, you can get some good value out of that. You know, even if your characters aren't dead, if you've like summoned some minions and they've died, you can bring characters back. So yeah, Doctor Strange, he's alright, you know, he's got some good stuff going on, and definitely some interesting potential for the future, and also his offense down on his standard bolt can be useful for negating stuff like, you know, Quake's ultimate attack or Crossbone's explosion, if you are gonna have one of those. I just generally find that other god tier solutions are better for either eradicating the problem or being able to like fully crowd control it. So yeah, Doctor Strange, bit of an interesting one. He's definitely gonna have matchups where he really shines though. And Kingpin with his offense up and bodyguards, like, it can be very good for slowing down the fight. Like, if the opponent has no way to remove debuffs on you, and if there's a lot of single target damage, Kingpin's bodyguards can be really good for that stuff. So yeah, that's pretty awesome there. Then we have Vision and Thor, who I think are two characters that really do synergize well and are brought up by the fact that they are both Avengers at the moment. So Vision has some good utility. He can remove a lot of buffs via his ultimate. He can reliably ability block. He can defense down on tech opponents, but I think it's bugged at the moment to be offense down instead of defense down, just from the rank up video that we did earlier. But I think Vision having such, you know, kind of reliable utility in terms of the ability block, and also having some nice area of effect damage, like, it definitely puts him up there as a very usable champion in the higher tiers of the game. So yeah, I like Vision, man, he's cool. And then we have Thor, who is really only a champion that you want to bring if you've got like Black Widow and Captain America. You can funnel just so much ability, energy, and speed into this dude, and it really does kind of pick up the pace of him, but on his own he's a little bit slow. So yeah, he really does benefit from the setup there. Then we have Hand Sentry, who is just a really annoying character to fight. His second ability puts everybody in stealth and applies evade to like 4 random allies. So yeah, he's chucking out evades, and it just makes it so annoying to fight, especially in arena. I think Hand Sentry, along with Yondu, Quake, Captain America, and Black Widow, is arguably like the best arena team at the moment. But I don't know, man. It's still playing around quite a bit, man. There are a lot of teams going on in arena, a lot of setups, a lot of matchups, but I think Hand Sentry just does have a ridiculous amount of value there. But he is kind of a bit of a one-trick pony in that regard. You know, he'll use his stealth, and then everybody will get burst down. Sorry, he'll get burst down, and then you have to deal with everybody else. But yeah, he's very good for those kind of shorter fights, kind of in a bit of a similar style to Crossbones as well, but definitely can have some really big value. Arguably, I don't know, maybe he could be god tier in the future. I'm not too sure, man. I'm gonna have a little bit of a think about Hand Sentry. And then we have the pretty good characters like Spider-Man, Daredevil, Winter Soldier. All have their merits, all deal quite a bit of damage as well, but aren't anything like too special. You don't want to upgrade them over other characters, but they're good to have as well up there. Thanos, bit of a disappointment, Thanos. Like, he's not really you know, punching as hard as he should be. His basic attack is very underwhelming. His second and third abilities are really good, really useful, but when those are off cooldown, man, he's just, yeah, very lame on his standard attack. Like, I'm not really feeling Thanos too much, but he can have a little bit of value in raids and in certain blitz team setups. You know, I found him to be of use there. Ultimus is just a massive whale character that you don't need to worry about too much for the moment. Just destroys taunt champions though, and can be very good in Kree synergy teams from chatting with some of my whale friends there. Then we also have Wolverine, who is alright for his regeneration. The damage is okay on Wolverine, but nothing like too insane. His ultimate is pretty good though, pretty good damage there. Then we have Korath. I really like Korath, man. He's some nice single target damage as well. Ability block, force taunt. Mercenary Lieutenant, who is kind of the budget version of Black Widow. So Mercenary Lieutenant can apply speed up and also offense up to 4 allies. So just comparatively speaking, in terms of Black Widow, like, this is less desirable because it's only for 1 turn instead of 2. So you might be applying speed up to champions that are just about to have their turn, and they don't really get the benefit on the next turn. And also, it's only a maximum of 4. So if you have a lot of minions summoned, and some of the minions might get it instead of core characters, which is a little bit annoying there. But yeah, the offense up can be really good with certain combinations as well, so I think Mercenary Lieutenant is, there's a good case for Mercenary Lieutenant maybe being moved up in the near future, but he's a valuable character, and if you don't have Black Widow, and if Black Widow's a little bit out of reach for you, he's definitely good to pick up. Then we have Elektra and Bullseye, who are just some really nice single target there, and then finally we have Luke Cage, who is kind of a nice like support tank hybrid, definitely behind some of the more god tier options. Like I think Captain America comparatively just wipes the floor with Luke Cage, but Luke Cage, he ain't too bad, man. He's alright. And then we have Not Too Bad, who again are some of the a little bit more underwhelming characters comparatively speaking. But we got Punisher, got some alright damage there. Nebula's a bit of a 1v1 brawler. Hulk is a bit of a tank, but he's so slow and so easy to control. So yeah, I just don't think Hulk is doing too much. Hydra Sniper has some nice damage, can also apply, what is it, offense up, and I believe speed up to allies. So yeah, Hydra Sniper can be good for damage and a little bit of support as well. Hand Blade Master, you got some nice damage on the Hand Blade Master. Same with Kree Reaper, and also Kree Noble, Kree Cyborg. Like a lot of the Kree characters, generally speaking, are quite good. There are a few that are a little bit behind as well. Mercenary Riot Guard is one of the better minion tanks because he can apply defense up to multiple enemies. Aim security is a massive meat shield, and Ravager Boomer has some alright damage and also synergizes further with Ryondu as well. And then we got the borderline bench. So we got Ronan, who's super meh, super slow. Iron Fist, who is just an absolute embarrassment if you compare it to a character like Wolverine, which then Wolverine is still like a fairly mid-tier character. We got Shield Medic, Shield Security, not really doing too much. Haven't found super interesting uses for them. Kree Oracle, super meh as well. Kree Royal Guard, not really too much going on. Mercenary Soldier, Mercenary Sniper, pretty meh as well, comparatively speaking in terms of the numbers. Hydra Scientist, Hydra Rifle Trooper, not really too much going on there. A lot of the Hand Sorceress, Hand Assassin, Hand Archer, like aren't super great comparatively speaking. Ravager Stitcher as well, nothing really too much to the table there. And then the Benchwarmers, the absolute ass tier champions. Got the Ravager Bruiser, just rubbish excuse for a tank. Aim Infector, oh, disgusting. Aim Assault, not really doing too much. Aim Researcher, yeah, got a bit of healing, but a very negative effect associated with that as well. Scientist Supreme, who just doesn't really work. She doesn't flow very well nicely. So yeah, just not a good character to invest in. Shield Trooper, a little bit lame. Could maybe be moved up to borderline bench though. And then we have Hydra Grenader and Hydra Armor Guard. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Marvel Strike Force tier list. Again, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to every single character, but that's just a very, very quick, glance over, overview, summary of who I believe to be some of the best characters at the moment. But again, you know, the value of characters does change depending on the scenarios, and there are a lot of different scenarios when it comes to Marvel Strike Force in terms of like raids and the nodes and the matchups. You just have to learn what the characters do and play to the best of their abilities. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you want some more awesome Marvel Strike Force content, be sure to subscribe to the channel because we're going to have detailed videos coming for a lot of the top characters in the very, very near future. And yeah, there's going to be a massive new update soon according to one of the game messages, so we got a lot of stuff to dig into hopefully this month as well. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.